Yo, here's how you can get athletic, which means to be athletic and aesthetic, all before GTA 6 comes out. And, let's be real, you got a good amount of time because GTA 6 ain't coming out for another year. So you got no excuse. I'm going to give you the 4 steps that you need in order to become athletic. And just keep in mind, this is exactly what I use to craft my physique, play doing football, as well as build my business. So just stay tuned. I got y'all. Step 1, when it comes to building an athletic and aesthetic physique, all before GTA 6 comes out, is we got to focus on the first part of that statement, athletics. And what exactly is being athletic? Now, granted, there's a whole bunch of different sports out there. I'm not talking about the specific sport. I'm just talking about the overall premise of being athletic. At the end of the day, that all just boils down to being able to run fast and jump high. So that's exactly what we're going to do when it comes to becoming athletic. We're going to run fast and jump high, meaning we're going to sprint and we're going to do plyometrics. And for those of you that don't know what plyometrics is, it's just jumping. It's doing jumps on boxes. It's jumping from boxes, absorbing force, absorbing impact. It's just doing a whole bunch of explosive movement, essentially. And the reason why we do this is simple, because if you want to get fast, if you want to be able to jump high, you actually have to practice those movements. You can't just expect to run fast and jump high just because of your genetics. Chances are, if you watching this, you are not blessed with the genetics of someone from West Africa. I'm gonna just be straight up with it. Now your boy, me, I got half of that, so I'm chilling. But for most of y'all probably ain't got the blessings like that. So I said that to say you need to be out here practicing your sprinting. You need to be out here practicing your jumping. And all that requires is you just going out and actually doing the thing. A lot of y'all are wondering like, yo, how do I get fast? A lot of y'all try to lift weights to run fast. A lot of y'all try to lift weights to jump high. It's like, no, I don't recommend going out and just sprinting just to sprint. I don't recommend going and jumping high just to jump high. I recommend actually doing those things in order to achieve a goal. I recommend that you go out and sprint in order to run like a sub 12 second 100 meter dash, in order to run a sub 11 second 100 meter dash. I recommend that you go and start jumping in order to dunk, in order to do backflips, in order to get better at the high jump. Don't just do these movements just to do these movements and say that you're athletic and aesthetic. Actually do these movements with a purpose. That's a big reason why people like athletes and whatnot get results behind their training, is because they're training with purpose. When you're lifting weights and when you're sprinting and you're jumping high because you want to be a great football player, it's going to make it that much easier to actually do the thing. And it's also going to get you way better results because you have more conviction in what it is you're doing. So to break it down simply, all you really need to do is make sure that you're going out there and sprinting and jumping high 2 to 3 times per week. So yes, this means that you need to go outside, you need to run as fast as possible, rest a little bit, and then run as fast as possible again. You need to go during your workouts and make sure that you include plyometrics, include parts where you're jumping as high as you possibly can, where you're jumping from boxes, doing jet drops and stuff like that, where you're doing box jumps and jumping up to a certain height. You just need to make sure that you're jumping and running as fast as possible, and you will get athletic. Now we need to focus on the second part of that equation, which is aesthetics, and that's all about the look. That's all about you taking off your shirt and having everybody look at you and, oh my gosh, you look so sexy, blah blah blah. Well, here's how you actually get it. You get it by getting strong as fuck. You do it by lifting heavy ass weights. Now a lot of people out here will tell you, oh, you need to train like a bodybuilder, you need to be doing like these high volume stuff, all these freaking different like drop sets that you need to be doing 3x10. You need to train the muscle for hypertrophy. You really don't need to do all that. All you need to do is get stronger, because as we all know, the only way to grow when it comes to your training, specifically when it comes to lifting weights, is through progressive overload. And all that means is that you're either doing more reps or you're doing more weight from workout to workout. If last week I was doing 135 on bench for 5 reps, next week I need to either be doing 135 for 6 reps or I need to be doing 140 for 5 reps. The weight needs to go up or the reps need to go up, because when you do that, your body will adapt accordingly. Your body will rise to a new level. If you're just doing the same thing, you're going to plateau, you're going to stay the same, you're going to look the same. So when it comes to achieving elite aesthetics, you just need to make sure that you're improving from workout to workout. And I mean, that makes sense. That should be obvious. Like, I feel like I don't even need to say that. But to get into a bit of the nuance on how you can do this in the most effective way possible, we're going to do something known as an athletic lifting approach. All this means is that you're going to be doing full body lifts, focusing on compound exercises, stuff like bench, stuff like squats, stuff like power cleans. You're also going to mix this in with body weight movements, stuff like pull-ups, dips, push-ups, inverted rows. You're going to make sure you're going through a full range of motion, so that way you activate every single muscle fiber in your body, and you also protect all the joints, tendons, and ligaments, and really start armoring up your body. You do that 3 times a week, because understand, if you're doing full body, you're not going to be able to be in the gym every day. You're not going to be able to be out here doing push-pull legs and expect to get athletic and aesthetic. You got to be doing full body, because this gives your body enough time to recover from each workout, so that way when you go into the gym, you're fresh, your CNS, your central nervous system is is actually recovered and you're able to push more weight or you're able to push more reps out. And if you want everything that I just said about how to sprint, how to jump, how to lift to become athletic, you can get it in the top link in the description below by joining the Athletic Body Program. That is where I take you from where you are today and turn you into an athletic and aesthetic freak of nature in the next 90 days, because that is what I've been working on for these last few months. That's why I've been so MIA. But just keep in mind, the price is currently on pre-sale right now. And this is probably like the last week that you can get it on the pre-sale price, because I'm about to finish the program. So go and get that. Only the first 100 people that get it at the pre-sale price will get that price and lock it in forever. And then after that, I'm doubling and quadrupling the price. Sorry to say. But anyways, that is what you can do if you want to become athletic and aesthetic without all the guesswork. But now we got to move on, because look, training, becoming athletic and aesthetic, that's only one part of the equation. We need to move on to step 3, which is going to be about your nutrition. And the reason why we got to focus real deep on nutrition is just because, like, look, you can't out-train a bad diet. Look, you can be doing all the right stuff. You can be out here sprinting every day. You can be out here jumping high every day. You can be out here lifting heavy as fuck and even hitting new weights every day. But if your nutrition isn't on point, it's not going to matter. Your nutrition is what gives you the foundation, what gives you the ability to grow. So there's a couple of things that we can do in order to maximize our nutrition. The first one is going to be fasting, and specifically I'm talking about training fasted. Look, if you want to become athletic and aesthetic all before GTA 6 comes out, you need to start training while you're fasted. This means that you're training with no food in your system. And now a lot of y'all are like, oh my gosh, but I'm not gonna have energy to work out. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna pass out while working out. No. Because see, here's what happens is when you start training fasted, your body does something crazy. It adapts, just like your body always does. Any stimulus you throw at your body's going to adapt to it. If you start running faster, your body's going to adapt by making you faster. If you start jumping as high as you can, your body's going to adapt by increasing your vertical. If you start lifting heavy weights, your body's going to adapt by making you stronger. So when you train fasted, all that's going to happen is your body's just going to adapt to running off a different sort of fuel system, in which it's going to run off ketones, it's going to run off the fat in your body. So while you're training, you're going to be burning fat. On top of that too, you're also going to strengthen your spirit, because understand, if you're able to train without food in your system, if you're able to train without any external stimulants, no pre-workout, no coffee, no nothing, it means that your spirit is strong, because all you need is your mind, body, and spirit when you go and do anything. So it's not only going to strengthen you as a whole, but it's also going to strengthen your spirit. You know, that stuff that you got deep inside your core, that stuff you got deep in your soul. Yes, we're talking about that. We're going to get that right. So in order to fast, it's real simple. Skip breakfast and stop eating around sundown. You know, just you don't want to eat too close to bed, because that's going to actually ruin your recovery, because digestion, it's just a very long process and it takes a lot of energy. So you want to stop eating about 3 hours before bed, and you don't want to start eating until after breakfast, usually around noontime. So you eat in that condensed window of about noon to like 6, 7, 8 p.m. You're going to be Gucci, you're going to be chilling, because then your body's going to be able to tap into its fat storages. It's going to be burning fat, and it's also going to be burning fat as you work out and as you train. Now, the second part of nutrition that you really got to focus on is going to be about eliminating toxicity. And when I talk about eliminating toxicity, I'm specifically talking about seed oils, I'm talking about refined carbs, I'm talking about added sugars. Those are the toxic 3 ingredients that you want to watch out for. So if you ever see people in the stores looking at ingredient labels, what you need to be looking for is you need to be looking for whether or not it has a seed oil like vegetable oil, palm oil, grapeseed oil, some random, canola oil or something like that. You need to see if it has a whole bunch of flour and wheat products in it. You need to see if it has added sugar in it, because if it has any of those ingredients, it's not going to be good for you. When you eat that stuff, here's what happens. You get fat, you get dumb, you get broke, and you get ugly. Like literally, there's no added benefit to eating those foods. As soon as you cut them out and replace them with a healthy food alternative, you'll feel way better, you'll look way better, and you'll just be way better, because you're not consuming toxic shit. You need to understand, these ingredients were designed in labs to make you addicted to them, so that the people who make these foods are able to sell more of their product. That's right, late stages of capitalism. It is what it is. It is what it is. But now you got the facts and you've been armored with the knowledge, so you're not going to be falling victim to that. You can't just eliminate these toxic foods, all the stuff that comes in a bag, all the chips, the sodas, the candies, and expect everything to be fine. You're going to leave a gaping hole in your life. What you got to do next is you need to replace this gaping hole of all the toxic food you were eating with real food. That's right, single ingredient foods you would find in nature: chicken, turkey, avocado, blueberries, beef, bison, whatever it may be. Literally just eat real food. And what exactly is real food? Meats, fruits, veggies. If you make sure that your meals consist of meats, fruits, and veggies, and maybe you can include like a couple good carb sources, like maybe you can throw in some rice. If that works for you, you can throw in some yams, you can throw in some sourdough bread. I don't know, I personally only eat like yams and rice, but you know, people be different. People got different genetics and different body types and different palates, so that might work for you. But I decided to say you cut out the toxic bullshit and you only focus on eating the real food. It's gonna give you nutrients and it's also gonna keep you full. Cause see, the issue is a lot of y'all just be snacking around the clock. Y'all just be eating whenever you feel like it. And why is because your body's not actually getting satiated. Your body's not being given the nutrients it needs. And if your body's not being given the nutrients it needs, you're not gonna feel full. You're gonna overeat. You're gonna be fat, unfortunately. Look, I'm just the messenger. But anyway, so you literally just wanna eliminate the toxic food, replace it with the real food. And specifically, you wanna focus on eating high fat and high protein meals because these are the macronutrients that really keep you full. So make sure you're hitting your protein goals, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Really, all you need is like 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight, but we're not trying to get too deep into that. So just aim for 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So if you weigh 180 pounds, get 180 grams of protein. And look, I'm not talking about going out and eating a whole bunch of protein bars, because I've actually done that before. And I ate a whole bunch of protein bars and I actually got fat as fuck. And like, it's not good for you, okay? So I say that to say, don't make the same mistake I did. Make sure that the protein you're eating is coming from real sources, aka meat. Or if you want to be vegetarian and vegan and make your life harder, then you can get it from like chickpeas and eggs and beans and all that. But just eat your meat, no pause. Anyways, moving on to step 4, recovery. So if y'all saw the last video I made, I think I literally made it a week ago, about how you can actually recover so that it makes you athletic and aesthetic. I'm not gonna go too into depth on that into recovery in this video, because like, just go check out that video if you want to know like really how to recover well. But the main things that you want to focus on when it comes to your recovery is going to be sleep, sauna, and just doing nothing. And the reason why we need to focus on recovery is because, remember, you don't actually grow until you recover. You can do all the right things, you can be eating all the right food, you can be going out and doing all the training, but until you recover, the gains are not locked in. So step 1 is you got to make sure you're getting your sleep. 8 to 9 hours a night of consistent sleep at the same time every night, so that way your body gets into a rhythm and knows like, okay, right now this is healing time. 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. this is the time to heal my body and get right and whatnot. So just make sure that you get your sleep. Don't be cutting out sleep because you want to work on your business. It's actually going to make you worse at your business. When you get more sleep, you're actually way more efficient and way more locked in, and you can get higher quality work done. That's right, life hack for y'all. You're welcome. So anyways, I said it to say, sleep 8 to 9 hours a night. Some of y'all can skate by on 7 hours, but I always recommend getting about 8 to 9 hours a night. That's what makes me feel the best. That's what allows me to go out and just show up as my best self, even like beyond just work. It allows me to show up with full energy in my training. It allows me to show up with full energy when I talk to people. I'm just a better version of myself. So make sure you get your sleep so that way you can just regrow and recharge. Next is you want to be hitting the sauna. Yeah, y'all already know I got the sauna method on lock. So the way the sauna works is you don't want to be going in and going like multiple times a week, going for like 15-20 minutes per session. No, you actually just want to go once per week. This is actually going to save you a lot of time as well. So you go once per week, and this one time out of the week, you're going to spend about, I would say, about 1 hour to 2 hours in the sauna. You're going to go for 4 rounds of 20 to 30 minutes. You're going to take like 5 to 10 minute breaks in between. And what this is going to do is it's going to stimulate HGH and heat shock proteins. And to keep it simple for all y'all that don't know the science, this just means that you're going to recover faster, and it's also going to regrow your muscle cells and keep you young, because that's what H does, human growth hormone. This is what all the dudes on steroids be injecting into themselves. So now you're just getting this for the free by going to the sauna once a week. You get what I'm saying? On top of that too, the heat shock proteins, these are responsible for speeding up recovery. And as we all know, you don't grow until you properly recover. So if you got more heat shock proteins, this is going to make you recover even faster and allow you to grow even faster. And then the last thing that you do in order to recover is get off your freaking phone, my nigga. That's right. Your mom was right. It's that damn phone. Like, actually though, because here's what you don't understand is like, when it comes to recovering, when it comes to just, regrowing and whatnot, it's more than just getting your sleep and hitting the sauna and having your body regrow. You need to make sure that your mind is sharp as well. A lot of people don't touch on this. A lot of people are not going to tell you to focus on your mind, but you got to protect your mind. And you do that when you get off your phone. When you're on your phone constantly being stimulated, scrolling on TikTok, scrolling on Instagram, even watching YouTube videos, unless they're video by Ado and Sule, you know what I'm saying? But pretty much whenever you're just constantly consuming, what's going to happen is you're going to get out of touch with reality. You're not going to actually be living in the real world. You're going to walk around almost in a haze. You're going to walk around and not going to be able to connect with people properly. So what you need to do is start taking time away from your phone. Don't touch your phone till noon. Make sure you turn your phone off like a few hours before you go to bed and actually connect with the real world. Go outside and take a walk without your phone. Go and talk to someone without scrolling on your phone. Go outside. Go to an event. Go to the park. Go to the bar without going on your phone, and just watch how much of a better time you have. You'll actually be present. You'll actually be able to interact with people properly. You'll actually just be a normal human being like you were always meant to be. But unfortunately, tech companies have robbed you of that. But that's what I'm here for though. So remember, if you want to recover, get your sleep, get your sun, and just spend some time away from your phone. Allow your brain and your mind to recharge. And then I'll leave y'all with this little bit of wisdom. Is just understand the path to becoming athletic and aesthetic, just fitness as a whole, going on that journey. Understand, it's a journey. Just take the time to actually be consistent. Lay down the habits. Start small and gradually build up. And if you want an entire roadmap in order to do that, like I already said, click the top link in the description below. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, I know you're going to enjoy the last video I made about how to recover so well that it makes you athletic and aesthetic. So go check that out. But seriously, if you made it this far and watched this entire video, I appreciate you. I love you. And I'm out. Adooski.